Hello, dear audience. Today, our small team would like to introduce you to the world of chemistry by trying to explain what is a double-slit experiment. Well, buckle your seatbelts and let's get started. First of all, let's talk about the scientist who gave us one of the many explanations of the current topic. Louis Victor Pierre Raymond VII Duc de Broglie was born in Dieppe, France on August 15, 1892. He has postulated the wave nature of electrons and suggested that all matter has wave properties.
Now, let's talk about interpretation de Broglie gave us. To de Broglie, the double-slit experiment did not require an abstract, mysteriously collapsing wave function. Instead, he conceived of a real particle riding on a real pilot wave. The particle passes like driftwood through one slit or the other in the double-slit screen, even as the pilot wave passes through both.
Sounds complicated. Here's the equation.
At least let's try to understand for what was this experiment created. What does it explain? In modern physics, the double-slit experiment is a demonstration that light and matter can display characteristics of both classically defined waves and particles. Moreover, it displays the fundamentally probabilistic nature of quantum mechanical phenomena.
We all know what electrons are, right? They are the only particles of atom that are outside of its nucleus. So here comes a question: what does the double-slit experiment tell us about electrons? It suggests that what we call particles, such as electrons, somehow combine characteristics of particles and characteristics of waves. That's the famous wave-particle duality of quantum.
So after all this information, even we would like to know, is it possible to recreate the experiment at home? Well, the answer is quite simple.
It's actually quite easy to perform the experiment in the comfort of your own house. The simplest setup is to use a laser pointer and pencil lead, but you can certainly be more systematic and cut slides in some opaque material as well.
Now let's finally see a visual explanation of this experiment as well as witness it in action. Please attention to the slide.
To do this experiment, you'll need 4 things: scissors, electrical tape, a laser pointer, and very thin wire. 32 gauge works well. Warning: lasers are cool but can be dangerous. Class 3 lasers, like the laser pointer that I'm using, can cause damage to the eye or to a camera under direct exposure. Never look directly into a laser beam during operation. If you're using a laser with output power greater than 5 milliwatts, be sure to be wearing appropriate eye protection in accordance with state or national regulations. To build your own double-slit apparatus, start by cutting 2 small strips of electrical tape and place them over the laser's opening, leaving a relatively small gap. Shine the laser on a white surface and notice what the dot looks like. Next, carefully place a small strand of wire across the opening and hold it in place on each end with a piece of tape. Keep the wire as straight as possible. Now, carefully place 2 pieces of tape on either side of the wire over the opening, getting the tape as close as you can to the wire without touching it. It can take a couple of tries to get this part right. And that's it! Turn off all the lights and shine the laser on a white surface. Notice how it used to be a single line is now dozens of vertical lines, diminishing in brightness the further away from the center as they go. Unfortunately, some of the lines that are actually visible are not bright enough to appear on camera.
Broglie hypothesized that particles could take on the properties of waves. Broglie's theory turned out to be correct and was confirmed a few years later in one of the most famous light experiments of all time, the double-slit experiment. By confirming the theory that particles could act as waves simultaneously, physics had discovered that electron streams act the same way as light.
Thank you for paying attention. Hope that this short presentation could bring some light into your world and chemistry knowledge. Stay safe.